Hi, y'all. It's Alex, the Best Places social media manager. You're about to watch me interview Janet, a Best Places user. In the interview, we discuss her experience in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Enjoy. Telling me your name and talking about where you're currently living.
Well, I'm Janet, and the hometown is Foxborough, Massachusetts. I've been living here since 1992. I'm by trade, I'm a professional copywriter. I do advertising and marketing writing, currently from home. And I really like living here.
Nice.
I'm
What
originally from Braintree, I should say.
nice. What about your experience living in Foxborough made you want to reach out to us for this interview?
Well, it's been very positive, I think. Of course, I've seen a lot of changes since 1992. Most importantly, a huge swell in the population. It's almost like the message got out, the word got out, and everyone started moving here. But it's very pleasant, I will say, compared to other places I've lived in, Braintree and for a while Brockton. I just was astounded by how nice the people are here. Just very, very warm people. I want to say any of those who aren't probably aren't Foxborough natives, but that's all right. You know, the majority wins. And it's safe above all. I feel very, very safe here. Whereas before, sometimes I felt like I had to look out the window if I bought a new car all the time. But here it's very safe, and you know, you can go running, walking on the street, and you don't feel like anyone's going to bother you or anything. And it's just a very pleasant kind of a combination of, well, it used to be much more rural, but it's got everything. It's got beautiful woods and things like that. So you have a little bit of the country, but I love it because you have Patriot Place, you have enormous, really great restaurants, entertainment, and overall, it's just very pleasant. From what I've heard, it's a great school system. I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know, but the school systems are really good. Um, the only thing I would say for caveats, maybe, it is quite pricey. I feel rents are really huge around here, and I was shocked by the price of homes. Um, Other than that, it's a nice community. It's great for families, couples. It's a little challenging if you're single. It's like me, which is it's kind of hard to navigate that sometimes. But again, as I said, people are super friendly, so it's good.
Nice. Would you recommend someone else move there?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Especially if you're a small family, you know, looking for a great place to raise kids. Again, they said very good schools and lots of activities for kids too.
Nice. You mentioned you were from Braintree. Have you lived anywhere else?
I did spend a number of years in Brockton, like my first apartment out of school, and spent a lot more years there than I planned on because probably it was so cheap to live. And being in my 20s there, um, you know, it was kind of fun. You have to have a sense of humor to live in a place like that, I will say. But after a while, I started to not feel safe, and I kind of checked out the Mansfield, Foxborough area. The other reason being that I am a freelance professional writer, so I also wanted to be located ideally between Boston and Providence. And I've gotten it, and Foxborough's perfect. It's almost halfway. So it's a great location for that reason, too.
Nice, lovely. What would you say your biggest move was, both in terms of distance and also just like culture shock wise?
Well, let's see, culture shock. I would say probably from Braintree to Brockton. I know my mother cried. It was funny though. Like I said, it was just a culture I'd never experienced. But it was good. It kind of gave me another view of how people live, and they were good people. Nothing against the people who live there. It's just circumstances and a lot of traditions passed down and a lot of upbringings that kind of shocked me. But if you were a decent person and gave somebody the benefit of the doubt, you wouldn't have any problem living there at all. Although today, like I said, I finally moved out when I started to feel not too safe. And originally, the neighborhood I moved to had been pretty safe. So that has to be the biggest. And then from Brockton to Foxborough, it was like,
Do you have any advice for people that might be making a similar move in the future?
to Foxborough?
Yeah, or just like in terms of like making such a distinct change in culture.
Oh, well, I always say try to research first, which I did, and especially, with rents and the cost of homes, you've got to do that because, like I said, that is a little. I can't afford to buy right now. Let's put it that way. But if you can afford it, it's great, and I think safety is number one, and feeling like you're in with a nice culture of people where you're welcome and you don't feel lonely if you're in a nice neighborhood. I'm not saying it's perfect, but yeah, if you're researching, find out what your priorities are. Like I said, mine were the location being between Boston and Providence, so I can make some money and feeling safe and, making friends with community members. There are also lots of clubs you can join too, like the Foxborough JCs. I'm not a member, but there are plenty of church groups, volunteer groups. So if you come in feeling lonely, there are ways to get around that.
Nice, lovely. So you've already kind of talked about what about the move you liked. Was there any experience of it that was negative that you could have done without?
Um, I can't really think of anything. I wouldn't have done anything different. I wish I'd kind of done it sooner, if anything. But no, not really. I had my apartment all picked out and they were very nice. Here, I got to sort of move things in like a month before the lease officially started. Um, the only thing, too, is I would advise people if you have pets, make sure that pets are allowed wherever you go, if it's a pet friendly neighborhood. I know that's big. But no, nothing I can think of that I wish hadn't happened or.
Great, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has Best Places helped you in finding your like happy place, your best place, if you will?
Well, I actually got acquainted with Best Places through a client I worked for, a client from Florida who's they had a national presence and they were a recruitment services firm. And part of my job was to sell not just the position, but the location. And a former copywriter there had given me bestplaces.com. And he said, just don't go anywhere else. Use this to, scope out the areas where the job is. So you can tell job applicants, because there were a lot of reloads going on. Naturally, you try to sell the positive points. But out of curiosity, I'd love to at some point move to the West Coast or something. So in my spare time, I kind of play around with ideal towns, ideal locales, and I love Best Places because it gives you the pros and the cons, the money, and some real live, not live, but testimonials of people. I almost go for those first, who live there or who have lived there. So I could spend hours just camping out, so to speak, on Best Places, just scoping out places that I'd love to, or at least I think I would love to move to.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great site. I don't know how people do without something like that.
Nice. Well, we actually blew through my questions pretty quickly. Before we sign off, is there anything else you want to share with us today?
Let's see. Nothing more than I would highly recommend Foxborough. It's a great town. There's lots to do. Like I said, it's family friendly. But if if you're single like me, there are certainly paths you can take. And it's just a great combination. As I said, you're safe. There's a lot of natural beauty, but you're not out in the boonies. There are, you know, great restaurants and shopping and anything else you'd want, all very nearby in a cluster. And I will say, too, the surrounding towns are very nice. So it's not like you go from Foxborough and hit a town that's like, oh my God. It's all nice.
Nice. It's good to hear. Well then, all right. I guess we can sign off. We hope you enjoyed that interview. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know when we upload new videos. You can also follow us on social to keep up with the team and what we're doing. All of that will be plugged in the description. Leave a comment below telling us what you thought of the interview. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.